You know, so many people are struggling with mental health before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and even on our way out of the pandemic, attempting to return to normalcy. We've seen struggles recently with some of our elite Olympic athletes. Well, that's just one example. There's so many people who are struggling. And because SCAN focuses so much on issues with seniors, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And if you stay tuned and meet our guest, you're going to find out that where there's hope, there's definitely healing. Stay tuned. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to SCAN FYI. How is everybody out there in Cyberland and Facebook and YouTube? Great to see you all today. So my guest today is Carol Hudak, and she is from, it's a long title, I got to read it, I can't lie. She is from RWJBarnabas Health Institute for Prevention and Recovery. So Carol, welcome to FYI.
Good morning.
So why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself, your role, and what actually is the RWJBarnabas Health Institute for Prevention and Recovery?
We're actually, Andrea, on a federal grant, a FEMA grant, providing the Hope and Healing program throughout 8 counties in the state of New Jersey, where it is primarily the RWJ hospital footprint. They have facilities in those areas. We start down in Ocean County and work our way up through to Hudson and Essex in the north. We are here to offer our services during the pandemic. It was a grant instituted during the pandemic to provide services to 5 different populations. There are first responders, frontline workers, children and families, substance use disorders, and of course the senior population in the state. And as we all know, Ocean County in New Jersey is one of the largest senior populations in the country. So with that said, my role is to bring as many opportunities to get the seniors to connect together and keep them from feeling so isolated and without any contact. We were all missing our family and our friends.
Of course.
And it was one of the primary reasons that we needed to reach out and connect them to us and to each other.
Now, my recollection about Hope and Healing, I just have a vague memory that it had to do originally with Hurricane Sandy or Superstorm Sandy. So this is kind of a similar, because folks who might have heard of it from before, well, we'll get into it, but I believe that was the genesis of Hope and Healing. Yeah. So let's talk a little more specifically. So what exactly is this program? And obviously you mentioned all the different support groups, all the different individuals, because everyone has issues. There isn't any part of the population, I think, that is not facing issues. And because SCAN typically, we do zero in on the senior population. So that's what we're really going to talk about.
It was very difficult in comparison to Sandy. During Sandy, there were actually FEMA workers that were on the ground and into all of the communities, knocking on doors and offering any type of assistance that they could to provide those that were victims of the disaster with services, housing, food, clothing, medicine, you name it. They were there to do that. Yeah. This was difficult because we couldn't do that. We had to be virtual. So what we tried to do was form an outreach to as many agencies in these communities as possible to connect to the seniors. We do virtual groups, and we offer emotional support services, education, and community-based resources to those that are seeking some additional help. We offer services for individuals and families that are affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. And in doing so, we not have only connected them to us, and of course it's a challenge because not all seniors are technically able to do the virtual groups.
Right.
So it's a challenge, but we've managed to connect in the past 10 months, we've connected to over 1,000 seniors on an ongoing basis to provide these virtual groups.
Well, first, let me say that I feel to the seniors out there who are connected with technology, I feel really good for you, and I'm proud of all of you, because of course, when SCAN went virtual, we faced the same issue, Carol. A lot of people, a lot of our seniors who were, let's say, technologically challenged, and so many of them, the majority of them, they rose to the occasion and they embraced technology. And obviously you found the same thing. So I just think that is fantastic. And for those seniors out there who have not yet embraced technology, honestly, what are you waiting for? All right, having said that, so you are connecting with folks virtually. And it's like you've created little mini communities among all of your different groups, right?
Correct. They have, many of them didn't have any connection at all to each other when we started this program.
Sure. Yeah.
And they have now all connected to each other and formed their own little units on a daily basis. They join us daily because we change our programs daily, so that there's always something of interest that someone will find. And if they don't find it, they can leave. They don't have to stay. It's so casual and it's so relaxing that we very rarely ever have anyone leave our presentations. They join
And
us.
can we also mention that it's free? This is a free service.
Yeah, there's no registration. There's no insurance required. There's no financial fee. It's all free and it's open to anyone. We have many people joining us, and the senior population ranges from 55 all the way up to in the late 90s. We have them join us. Seniors, we found, the general consensus is that seniors are, little old ladies sitting at home in a rocking chair knitting.
Yikes.
Not so. What we've learned is that the core of the senior population is resilient and strong, and they bring so many challenges to the table that they've experienced in life and explained how they've overcome. So they give emotional support to each other.
And I think that's such a big part of it, because it's sort of a peer situation. And what's better than, so you took basically a room full of strangers, put them in a virtual room, and you created a marvelous connection. And I love that, you talk about connection, not counseling. So let's kind of clarify that. This is not a counseling service.
It is not. And although many of our support specialists are credentialed LCSWs or MSWs, we carefully monitor the need for emotional support and the need to connect to others versus crisis counseling. It's a very fine line. And the professional counselors that are part of our team, and we don't call ourselves crisis counselors as they did during Sandy, even though that's a FEMA title, we
Right.
call ourselves support specialists, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to offer our support to them. And if we don't have the resources within our group to provide that, we can refer them out to other agencies that could help them as well.
So all of your sessions are actually facilitated.
Correct.
Okay.
We have facilitators. Our team of support specialists research and develop and create these presentations. They're very professional. We use slides, we use music, we use videos that we take, YouTube videos that can support the topic of the day. And in between, we have carefully scripted questions that we stop the presentation and we ask the questions to the group. Then it becomes participant driven.
Yes.
And sometimes takes on a life of its own. And during that conversation, they find the deep feelings that they have or questions to ask each other and to share. It's it's quite remarkable how it's kind of taken on the life of its own.
Carol, can you give me some examples of some of the topics that may have been covered in a typical session, so people have an understanding of what it's all about?
Well, we offer topics ranging from brain health, which could include your diet, meditation. We offer stimulation to our brains, really fun things too, that brain teasers and word games, trivia that would include digging back into our memories, and TV shows and music, Broadway shows, things of that nature, to keep their minds stronger and thinking that they're not forgetting anything in their life. They're bringing it to life again. And when they do that, they bring themselves to life. Some of our topics, initially, we had the topic coping with change, because life had changed, which it's about to do again. So with that, everything now is under coping with change, but we have daily topics. For instance, we have inspirational men and women that we discuss and give biographies of all of them and how they overcame obstacles in their life to survive. We do travel trivia, where we take them to these beautiful countries and places of interest, and we have topic conversations about that. And people bring their stories of when they traveled, and they tell us things that we would have never known because we weren't going there. We have meditations to help relax us. We teach them simple meditations, rolling their shoulders, breathing, conversation about different ways to handle stresses during their daily life. We have topics ranging from books that we've read. We have topics that offer a very subliminal psychoeducational component, that they walk away not really realizing what they have just learned, but it stays with them.
Very good.
We're very diversified.
I also see that I have a flyer here, which we'll actually put out on Facebook, that you have meetings Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So 4 days a week for seniors. Correct,
we do. And we vary in times. 2 are in the morning and 2 are in the afternoon, because we realize that some seniors, they don't get up early in the morning.
They're not always morning people.
So we try and reach everyone. We also offer our presentations to organizations, different senior centers, that when they were shut down and we found them, they said, hey, you know what, let's put this on our programming, but we'll do it virtually to our members.
Right.
So we do that for religious organizations and some assisted livings. We bring our programs in there, and we have started, we're not quite sure now where we stand, but we have started to offer our services and presentations in person. As nice as it is to see faces on the screen, it's so much more rewarding and personal when you can see them in person and speak to them.
Arms and legs and full bodies, right?
Yeah.
I know. Not too long ago, we went to an event, and I'll say for me, it had been the first time I had been to an in-person event in a while. Everyone had been on a screen like this in Zoom, and people I hadn't seen for a while, I forgot how tall they were. I forgot how short I was, because this has become our world. But even though this has become our world, I think that you're also noticing what we noticed at SCAN. The group is very powerful. We were concerned that would people connect virtually as well as in person, but we found they did. And I'm so happy to say that obviously so did you in your groups.
Yeah. In the beginning, it seemed like an impossible task. And our mission was to be present in their lives and to listen and engage them and give them an opportunity to come together in a safe, comfortable place where they could express their thoughts and feelings. Many of them were angry about being away from their family and friends. And after a couple of group meetings, they had no problem in expressing that. So they talked about many different challenges during their life, but felt that nothing was as hard to overcome as this because they were just locked in.
The
So
isolation.
yeah, so we are extremely pleased. It's amazing to us that this has happened so successfully, and it's growing, Andrea. We're finding more and more people are not only connecting to us, but they're connecting each other, their friends and family, to us. And many of them having, children and grandchildren expressing problems because of COVID, have connected their children, their grandchildren, college students to our children and families. Many of them have, frontline workers, nurses, and healthcare givers in their families. So everybody is connecting to our programs, which is it's what we anticipated, but never thought it would be as successful as it is now.
In some ways, it's unfortunate, funny to say this, but it's unfortunate to be so successful because it really is demonstrating the acute need that's out there for people.
Yeah, there are some seniors out there that we are not able to connect to. Many seniors that are the older generation of seniors, I want to say in their 90s and above, they many of them don't even have cell phones. They have house phones.
Right.
So it's
Right.
difficult for them to connect. By the way, you can connect via a phone. If you have a smartphone or an iPhone, you can connect to our programs, and you don't have to be on the screen if you don't want
That's
to.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can listen, you can participate that way. But the ones that can't are the ones that are the hardest and most difficult to reach. And we prayed hard during the vaccination period to be able to find out who they were and where they were so that we could arrange for them to be vaccinated, through different services within their communities. They are the ones that are the hardest to provide these services for.
So definitely seniors have some unique needs, and well, seniors have always had unique needs, but this whole pandemic situation has, I think, brought a lot of it to the surface. And again, technology, where so many people have resisted. Once again, I'll say I am so proud of all the seniors out there that overcame the obstacles and embraced it. And this is what it brought you. This wonderful group, Hope and Healing.
Yeah, and we hope to continue growing throughout the rest of this year. There are many challenges that our seniors are discussing right now. Since the restrictions have started to lift,
Yes.
we thought, we're just going to charge back into our day-to-day lives. And we're finding that they are voicing many concerns and many anxieties in either attempting to do so or in being afraid to do so. They have so many questions. How do we know that people who are unmasked are vaccinated? There's a lot of trust issues.
No, we don't. Yeah.
We don't. And they are afraid because they say, you know what? We came this far and we got through the vaccination phase, without being afraid to get that vaccine. So we got it. And now we are told we can go back out there, but we're not so sure that we want to. So we're trying to work through what we're calling a post-pandemic phase, going forward together and helping them to overcome some of these anxieties and fears. But right now, we're not sure of whether or not things are going to be stopped again. So it's difficult. We're all in the same place. We don't have to be seniors to have these questions.
No, and we're facing the same issue with SCAN because, fall is coming. Our classes are starting in September. So many questions, and I simply don't know the answers. I don't know what will happen, what restrictions may or may not come into play. We are seeing also the anxieties, the fears. We are all in this together. We absolutely are. And we're going to all have to just stay tough and get through it. Now, with this program, the next question, of course, is, and by the way, everyone listening, I will put a link in the comments on Facebook and YouTube so that if you want to reach out and become a participant, remember, everything is free. We'll put the links in there. So Carol, explain to people, if someone wants to participate, and remember, it's not just a program for seniors, you've got many categories of folks that you're helping. What's the best way to get into this? This is a great opportunity to take advantage of it.
It is. And just if you have a laptop, an iPad, a smartphone, and I'm not quite sure if it's just a smartphone, Andrea, the technology for me sometimes is a
well, you
little
can always
fuzzy.
dial in on a
Yes.
regular phone and just be a listener. You won't be
listen.
on screen, but you can listen, of course.
Right. And all of the information is on our flyer that I know that you're going to post. And there's also, if you can get to the website, there are emails that you would be able to connect to, not only myself, but to my team. And we would be able to give you instructions. We'll help you get online and join us. We meet on Tuesday and Friday afternoons at 3. And we try to make the afternoon sessions very light and lively. And on Wednesday and Thursday, we meet at 10 a.m. We also try and do a little wake up. When we start our programs, the most important thing to us is that we ask you how you are today. Because many people don't start their days or end their days on a high note. So as much as we would like to get them there, we want to know how they're doing and how we can help them. So we start that way. We present our program. We have great conversation, a lot of laughter, and a lot of thought. So we hope that when you walk into our room, that you leave with a smile on your face at the end of our program.
Well, because laughter is really the best medicine. So we need, and some people sadly they don't get to laugh enough.
Yeah, well, we get them there as best we can.
I like that. I'm very happy about that. All right. So my guest today has been Carol Hudak from RWJBarnabas Health Institute for Prevention and Recovery. And I'm just going to give a little shout out to the Monmouth Medical Center, which is part of that. They have been a supporter of SCAN since 1988. They are one of the founders of SCAN. So we've always had a great relationship with them. So for us, they have always been a trusted resource.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for giving us this opportunity to share what we offer to your seniors.
Well, remember, everyone out there, where there's hope, there is healing. And I think we are showing you that absolutely today. So once again, my guest today was Carol Hudak. And remember, if it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr, and we'll see you next time on SCAN FYI. Bye, everyone. Bye, Carol.